Section 7 through 9 summary. Ellie, his father, and the other prisoners are in a cattle car on their way to Buchenwald. The prisoners are tormented with bread that is thrown into the cattle cars while passing through a German town.
Ellie was reminded of this instance with the bread later in life when he witnessed a Parisian woman throwing coins at children which caused them to fight. The same thing happened to his son and father on the train when the father found one of the pieces of bread thrown into the cattle car, and his son killed him for the scrap of bread.
At the end of the journey, the dead are left on the train. Among them is one of Ellie's father's friends, Meerkats. Ellie's father becomes sick while on the journey.
Ellie's father became ill with dysentery while on the train, which made him unable to drink water. He soon died.
Once Ellie's father dies, Ellie's only desire is to eat. On April 10, 1945, the resistance takes over the camp.
The resistance took over the camp on April 10th, and the American troops showed up later in the day, taking up roost at the gates.
Theme and symbolism. The theme is the subject of a talk, a piece of writing, a person's thoughts, or an exhibition, a topic. The theme of sections 7 through 9 is loss of hope. Examples of the theme will be given on the next slide. Symbolism is a symbolic meaning attributed to natural objects or facts. One of the major symbols of this section is bread.
Bread is something that was desired by all prisoners more than anything else and represented the need to survive. On page 114, Ellie says, "Our first act as free men was to throw ourselves onto the provisions. That's all we thought about. No thought of revenge or of parents, only of bread." Bread followed the prisoners through every step of the journey and had good and bad effects. It had been used for bartering and bribing as well as a reason to kill.
Examples. Meerkat slowly lost hope while traveling on the train to Buchenwald. He didn't believe that he was strong enough to go on and begged for death. Meer had been one of the strongest prisoners from the beginning, but the time spent in the camps had finally gotten to him.
On page 102, Meerkat says, "Shlomo, I am getting weak. My strength is gone. I won't make it. I can't go on, Shlomo. I can't help it. I can't go on." And again on page 103 he says, "Why don't they just shoot us now?"
The death of Ellie's father caused Ellie to give up on life, and eating became his only desire.
Ellie says on page 112, "No prayers were said over his tomb, no candle lit in his memory. His last word had been my name. He had called out to me, and I had not answered. I did not weep, and it pained me that I could not weep, but I was out of tears." Review. Keep these concepts in mind when preparing for the quiz next class. Meerkats died on the train on the way to Buchenwald. Theme is the subject of a talk, a piece of writing, a person's thoughts, or an exhibition, a topic. The theme for these sections was loss of hope.
Ellie's father was diagnosed with dysentery and could not drink water as a result. He soon became weak and died. 100 prisoners got on the cattle car, but only 12 got off at Buchenwald.
On April 10th, American troops were stationed at the gates of Buchenwald. German townspeople threw bread at the prisoners for entertainment. Review continued. A Parisian lady throwing coins at 2 children caused Ellie to remember the Germans throwing bread. Ellie felt he had failed his father by thinking that surviving might be easier without him.
A man killed his father over a scrap of bread on the train. A symbol for these sections is bread.